I will now call on Mike Gunther to talk about George Elford and the Dover Basketeers.
I'm quite honored this evening to be introducing a group of men who have left their mark on basketball in our county, the Dover Basketeers. Originated in 1955 by Mr. George Elford, a Dover man who had served as a volunteer coach in several Dover sports. The Basketeers came about by basically letting boys be boys who liked to imitate the Harlem Globetrotters after their grade school basketball practices. As a result, from 1955 until 1963, these Dover boys became an organized group of talented individuals who showcased their skills not only locally, but also in various parts of the country. They were embraced by so many, including having an open invitation from Hall of Famer Ray Mears, who you're going to hear about soon, to perform at halftime of his collegiate games, as well as performing at NBA games, and even being part of the Jerry Lewis film Errand Boy, filmed in Hollywood, California. An ironic side note that needs to be highlighted. High school classmates George Elford and fellow inductee Ray Mears were reunited at the NCAA championship game in 1961 when the Basketeers performed at halftime. Hall of Famer Eldon Miller, who you will see in a little while, was the senior player and team MVP who led that Wittenberg championship team. Dover Basketeers, Ray Mears, Eldon Miller, all Tuscarawas County. In those 8 years, 24 boys earned the distinction of being Basketeers for the rest of their lives. By recognizing them in our Tuscarawas County Sports Hall of Fame tonight, we are cementing their legacy. They are a special group that will forever be remembered for their contributions to our rich basketball history. If we get the volume going, we're going to play it again. At this time, I will present individually 9 of the 11 surviving Dover Basketeers. First, Colby Byram, please come forward. Colby is followed by Bill Davis. Rick Haynes.
Care of me.
Certainly.
You should take care of me.
Certainly. Keith Marburger.
Thank you.
Don Maurer. Jim Meese. Todd Ramsey. Kirby Tarakitis. And Jim Trotter.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming. 2 other surviving members are Eugene Ketter and Kenny Corns, who could not be with us this evening. At this time, I will introduce 10 of the 15 deceased members and those accepting on behalf of these gentlemen. Dean Burkhart, being represented by his daughter, Jill Connor. Ernie Cato, represented by his brother, Richard. Assistant coach, Gene Desecker, represented by his sons, Ron and Randy. Bob Fights, represented by his wife, Patty. Jake Hammond, represented by his sister, Bev Luthi. Terry Simmons, represented by his sons, Kevin and David. John Tarakitis, represented by his brother, Kirby. Rich and Steve Trustorf, being represented by Steve's daughters, Stephanie, Stacy, and Maya. Cal Woods, represented by his brother, George Ogletree. The 5 remaining deceased team members are Phil Brewer, Coach George Elford, Bill Levengood, Al Leeser, and Jim Schweitzer. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Don Maurer, not only a Basketeer, but also the author of the 2018 book, George Elford and the Story of the Dover Basketeers. Mr. Maurer.
On behalf of George Elford and the Dover Basketeers, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees tonight and say to them and to all the previous inductees, it's an honor to join your company. Over the 8-year run of the Basketeers, there were 24 Basketeers, but there was only one George Elford. George was a bachelor who worked at a local factory and spent all his time after work with the youth of Dover, Ohio. He coached young men in all 3 sports: football, baseball, and basketball. He loved to play tennis and swim at Atwood Lake. He felt strongly about how he approached coaching. And it was clear you did things George's way. But it was also clear that he cared about you too. He was organized and wasted little time ranting and raving. A former Basketeer once said he believed George's 3 favorite words were, "Do it again." And we always knew why. It just wasn't good enough at that time. But he cared about you, how you looked and acted. He had some deep feelings about right and wrong and how a person should behave. He never preached. He simply set an example. He gave us haircuts at practice when we needed them. He told us time and time again on our trips. People will not remember your names, but they will remember where you came from. He once said about his lifelong work with the youth of Dover, he said, "It's a love story. I love Dover." His lessons went beyond the basketball court. Not only Basketeers, but hundreds of young men in Dover remember the things he said or demonstrated when he was coaching them. He never sought recognition or reward. He was a modest man. And when the talk turned to Basketeers, he always gave credit to the boys. And he would have done just that tonight in accepting this wonderful honor. He would have thanked you and then said, "The boys deserve all the credit. We know better. We have always known that it was George who made the whole thing happen." Thank you.